here's a little bartender secret for you. The best way, hands down, to step up your cocktail game is to do some kind of infusion of syrups or alcohol itself. Now, up until this point, I've been making most of my infusions in a saucepan like this for syrups, or steeping that flavor in alcohol overnight. But the real game changer is to use the sous vide method to control the temperature. We'll talk about the science behind this in a bit, but sous vides are amazing. You can get these for like 50, 60 bucks now, and they'll make the best steak, chicken, fish of your entire life, but they also make the most vibrant syrups. So let's talk about it. To start, you need to fill up a vessel with water. I'm using a Cambro here, but you can also use a pot. Next, you need to turn it up to your desired temperature. Now, we're gonna make a raspberry flavored syrup first. And for that, 135 degrees Fahrenheit or 57 degrees Celsius is the good temperature to use. For most berry infusions, this is what we're gonna go with. So ideally, you're weighing out your ingredients. We're gonna start with about 75 grams of fresh raspberries. Now, I counted this out, it's about 22 raspberries. And we're gonna combine that with a basic simple syrup, equal parts sugar and water. We're gonna measure out about 250 grams or about 7.5 ounces into the glass. And you can scale this up linearly if you wanna make more. The best way to actually sous vide this is to throw it in a temperature-safe Ziploc bag. Now we basically want to create a vacuum seal of this stuff to make sure that it is in contact with the hot water, but we don't really have a vacuum here. The best thing to do is use the water displacement method. So the easiest way to do this is to seal the bag except for one air hole that you're going to leave at the top, and then drop it into the bath of water. And as you submerge it in the water and press the top of the bag under the water, all of the air will come out the top, and it will actually create a pretty tight seal around the berries and syrup at the bottom. Then just seal the bag fully and leave it in there for about 2 hours. After you're done, pull it out and drop it into an ice bath to stop the cooking. Next, we need to strain this out in any way possible. I'm using a somewhat clunky method of straining out the berries first through this tea strainer, and then I'm gonna run it again through a coffee filter because I like to get it really clear. But if you don't mind little berry particulates in your syrup, you can skip this step. Pour it into a bottle, and this will yield about 7 fluid ounces or about 210 milliliters of syrup. And the flavor of this syrup is super bright and vibrant, not like the sort of jammy flavors you get from doing it in a saucepan. Store it in the fridge and try to use it within 2 weeks. Now let's make a cocktail with this. You could swap it with the simple syrup in any sour cocktail really, but let's try making the Clover Club. Start with 3/4 of an ounce or 22 mils of our raspberry syrup, then 1/2 ounce or 15 mils of fresh lemon juice, another 1/2 ounce or 15 mils of dry vermouth. Here I'm using Dolan brand. And then 1.5 ounces or 45 mils of gin. Now this is an egg white drink, but I'm gonna do the reverse dry shake method, which means that we'll start by shaking it with ice to chill and dilute it for about 15 seconds or so. Then we'll double strain out that ice, then add in the egg white of 1 large egg and dry shake, meaning shake without ice, for about another 15 seconds. Then you can just free pour that into a chilled coupe glass, and we'll garnish with a couple raspberries here. I feel like it's staring into my soul, so let's give it a taste. The Clover Club with a raspberry syrup made from a sous vide infusion. I have made dozens of Clover Clubs in my day, and this by far is the best. I don't know how to better describe it, but the raspberries taste like raspberries.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
You can use this technique with any berry infusion, and it's gonna be excellent. Okay, instead of making a flavored syrup, let's try this technique on infusing a liqueur. In this case, putting some toasted coconut into Campari, which I think is gonna be an excellent flavor. And one of the huge benefits to using this technique for liquor infusion is just the speed at which we can get it. All right, so we're gonna start with some unsweetened cocoa flakes and weigh out about 50 grams worth, which is about this much. And let's toast these by putting them on medium heat in a frying pan, stirring constantly until they're this nice golden brown color. Go ahead and throw them in your Ziploc bag, and we're gonna pour in 1 bottle, about 750 mils of Campari. And just as in the last recipe, we're gonna use the same water displacement method to create a vacuum seal of the liquid and coconut. Once you get all the air out, we're gonna turn on the sous vide to 145 degrees Fahrenheit or about 63 degrees Celsius for, again, 2 hours. Remove from its luxurious 2-hour bath and drop it into an ice cold water bath to stop the cooking process. This time I'm going to do a big filter through a sieve, and then again we're going to strain through a coffee filter to get rid of any coconut particulates. Now this is optional, but because this is coconut, there will be some fat content in here. You can freeze this overnight and then do another strain to get perfect clarity. Not critical, but it will yield a bit of a cleaner product. So we're gonna pour that back into its bottle. You'll see we've lost a little yield here in the process. But let's try it on in a classic Negroni. We're gonna start with 1 ounce or 30 mils of our coconut infused Campari, 1 ounce or 30 mils of sweet vermouth, and then another 1 ounce or 30 mils of gin. Stir with ice for about 45 seconds to chill and dilute the drink, and then we are going to pour it over a big clear rock into a rocks glass. Now that is looking absolutely gorgeous, but let's see how it tastes. We'll try our coconut infused Campari, and if there was any doubt that that infusion worked, it's been put to bed because that is a nice, rich coconut flavor. It definitely comes across as a bit sweeter, but that flavor is just wonderful. And you could try this infusion in other things like bourbon or rum. But before the next cocktail, we have to talk about the sofa. The sofa is an integral part of my home, which is why I was super excited to partner with Allform for this video. You might have heard me rave about the Helix mattresses on my channel, and Allform is Helix's sister brand of sofas and chairs that are all American made and super easy to assemble. What I love about them is that it's completely modular and customizable, so you can really design it to work well in any space. Plus they're also scratch and stain resistant, which is pretty important since my young daughter likes to knock over every glass, but she was quite helpful in assembling this sofa, which goes to show how easy it was to put together. But most importantly, it's just a really comfortable, good-looking couch that perfectly fits the room I need it in. And amazingly, they'll deliver the entire thing to your door for free, and it includes a 100-day trial. So if you don't like it, they'll just pick it up for you and you'll get a full refund. I am loving my Allform sofa, and I think you would too. So if you're looking for some new seating, visit the link below or go to allform.com/cocktailchemistry for 20% off the sofa of your choice. For our third infusion, we're gonna make an unbelievable cinnamon syrup and a killer cocktail to go with it. Okay, so this process will be similar to the raspberry syrup, but slightly different temperatures. We're gonna grab some cinnamon sticks and crush up about 5 grams worth. This was about half a cinnamon stick. And to that, we're gonna add our simple syrup. Again, this is 1-to-1 sugar to water syrup, and we're gonna weigh out about 250 grams. Okay, similar process as before. Pour everything into a Ziploc bag, seal it almost all the way, submerge in water to remove all the oxygen, and then fully seal it. And while we cook delicate fruits at 135 degrees Fahrenheit, for these denser, harder ingredients like coconut, cinnamon bark, spices, we do 145 degrees Fahrenheit or 63 degrees Celsius. Submerge in an ice bath and then strain it out through a coffee filter again to collect all that cinnamon bark particulate. Should be left with about 7 ounces or 210 mils. And again, you can scale this up if you want. Store in the fridge and ideally use within 2 weeks to have the brightest flavor. All right, let's make a drink. And again, you could swap this with simple syrup in any sour cocktail, use this in an old fashioned, it'll be wonderful. But we're gonna do a play on the famous tiki ingredient Don's Mix, which is cinnamon, sugar, and grapefruit. So let's start with a 1/2 ounce or 15 mils of our cinnamon syrup, 1 ounce or 30 mils of fresh grapefruit juice. Let's balance that out with a little more acidity, a 1/4 ounce or about 7 mils of fresh lime juice. And in the spirit of tiki, for our liquor, we're gonna use a dark rum, 2 ounces or 60 mils. Shake with ice for about 15 seconds to chill and dilute this, and then we're gonna double strain it into a chilled coupe glass. All right, let's give it a taste. Our to-be-named grapefruit cinnamon rum thingy, and wow, that is really nice. The cinnamon flavor is just really vibrant. It comes through a lot better than other cinnamon syrups I've made, and the pairing with grapefruit is just wonderful. Using this in a daiquiri or a whiskey sour would also be amazing. Thanks for watching, y'all. So in summary, this is a template. 2 hours, 135 degrees for fruits, 2 hours, 145 degrees for dried or harder ingredients. Give this a shot and let me know if you make anything tasty using this technique.